know the LA realtors. Right here, but y'all don't like the front row?
No, I got kicked out last time.
I'm the back bencher. Always back.
Angela's up against it too.
I don't know where everybody.
Oh, she's in last. All three of them. My favorite.
Yeah. So, that's what I was gonna say. When I call now,
Oh, that's pretty
it's winter. Now, we're anyhow, so I wrote to my Yeah, they're all, I have
Yeah, what kind of music do you like? The old stuff or the
that whole album.
yeah, I know it's not me.
I haven't really. Yeah.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, so I get team leader's privilege this morning. And I want to introduce you to my two grandsons. They're visiting me this week, and they're nice most of the time. Come up, you guys. So in case you will know, they're twins. You can tell, and you are. Which one of you is the smartest?
Me.
Who's the sweetest?
Me.
Who's popular the most?
Both.
Everybody in TV, say good morning, everybody. And you want me to roast eggs one of these days? Maybe. I like it. Have a seat. Thank you for coming. I love you guys. And yes, they are. Okay, other good news. Who wants to share some good news this morning? How's Ignite, by the way? Introduce yourself there and talk about Ignite.
I'm Justin Hilson, and Ignite's been very informative. Yeah.
Well, Justin, tell us a little bit about you, because you have a wonderful background. You do something a lot of people would love to do, but don't do it.
I've spent the last 10 years as a touring singer-songwriter.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I was doing about 200 shows a year for the last 4 years. But you know, the landscape of a touring artist is it's a little different thing. So COVID took me off the road, and my mom's been in the business for a long time, and I helped start a staging business when COVID began, and real stages kind of seemed like the next logical step. So,
We're glad to have you too. And if he can book good gigs on the road, he can go and do that job to do real estate.
Oh, yeah.
100%, is that 100%? So we're happy to have him here, his mom, and there will be a team of wonderful. Hey, any other good news this morning? Anybody in television land that's on for the first time, they want to introduce themselves?
Jim, I've got some good news.
Okay, tell us.
I want to share with you, this just kind of pulled my heartstrings. Amanda brought her daughter Charlotte to see me in my office, and I gave her some notepads, no big thing, and she wrote me a thank you note. So this is the best thank you note I've ever gotten. We'll never get rid of it. She's 3 years old, almost 4. And for those in TV land, see if you can read this. Isn't that the best? It says, I love you, Michelle, you are the best.
It takes a 3-year-old to love her.
Yes, and I have a 3-year-old grandchild that loves me too.
Those things are worth sharing, guys. Anybody has something they want to share before we move on? We have an exciting program today. Anybody else? Anybody in TV land before we move on?
Well, Jim, I'm excited. I'm getting to spend a couple days down in South Georgia with my mama. So
Right.
that's a blessing.
That's precious time, isn't it, Reed?
It is.
Okay, great. Anybody else?
I have my first offer accepted, and we are pretty much clear to go to the closing table on the 20th of this month. So I'm excited about that.
We're supposed to be, guys. That's great news. Anybody else? Let's just keep sharing. We won't have any TV meeting. We'll just share stuff. I love that.
Right.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
I was just checking internet. This is interesting. We were talking to Michelle about the different national days, but today, by the way, is the Farmers Day, National Face Your Fears Day,
Oh.
National Free Thought Day, National Gumbo Day, National Pulled Pork Day, National Savings Day, and World Arthritis Day.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's also National Be Nice to Your Pop Day. Don't forget that. Okay. All right, guys. Anybody else have something they want to share, guys? I love this. Let us move on. And Carrie, I think I saw you.
You did. Good morning, everybody. Carrie with Thomas and Brown.
Carrie, were you at the baseball game last night?
No, I was actually in Fort Lauderdale last night.
Wow.
Yes, I went this weekend to visit a friend that just moved there. It was so nice, you guys. We did the one of the like water taxi tours and saw all those ridiculous like $30 million homes. So good news is I'm under contract on one. Just kidding. But yeah, the yachts and everything, it was ridiculous, but it was very fun. So good morning to everyone. We have a class coming up on the 21st, which is next Thursday. It's going to be a CE class with Cheryl. It's called Choose Your Own Adventure. And we've done this before in this office and we had great feedback. And then we also had a lot of people that couldn't make that day. So we decided to do the class again. So if you missed it, we would love to have you. Basically, we take a behind the scenes look at closings. It's very interactive. So we give different examples of things that have come up or could come up at a closing. And then you guys will choose your own adventure and we'll see if that choice gets you to the closing. So it's a lot of fun. It's really funny stories as well. So, and you get CE credits and there's lunch. So what else do you really need, right? So we look forward to seeing you guys there. I'll send out an email so you can RSVP to me for lunch, just so we're sure to have enough. And we look forward to seeing you guys then. Thank you.
I see a television show coming.
Oh, for sure. I mean, our entire closing, all of our offices could be a reality show. You guys know how it is.
Exactly. It's irrational. Thank you so much. He's on his vacation this morning. Down, boy, down. All right, thank you so much. Thanks, Gary. Moving on, who's up? Reed.
Hi there. Reed's visiting his mama, so I get to come say hello to everybody. Want to come up for a
You
second?
actually talk?
I do. Reed asked, he said, can I go see my mama? Will you stand up? I said, yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Janie. I'm with Silverton. And, there's no new news on the forefront other than we're still doing loans and the rates are still great. Although, the market's saying, oh, rates are crazy. They're climbing. They're really not. I mean, they're holding steady right now. And if you think about it, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, we were looking at 5s and 6s and we're still in the 3s. So that's the great news. And following up from last week, y'all heard the announcement that the new conforming loan limits are going to be up 625. Silverton is now accepting that as a conforming loan limit. So if you have any pre-qualifications or any loans you need, we're here to help you. And don't forget about our Silverton Secure. And Reed, do you have anything to throw in?
Just wanted to dovetail on that idea of the increased loan limits. I mean, first of all, it's a big increase from 1 year to the next, $625,000 conforming loan limit. And it hasn't really been confirmed by FHFA, but it will be. Everybody believes soon. But I mean, that means that somebody can buy a $658,000 house with 5% down. I mean, that's pretty significant. And that means that you don't have to get into the slightly more restrictive jumbo underwriting guidelines, which typically limits you to a 43% debt to income ratio. It has stricter reserve requirements and things like that. So it's great news. It's definitely, I think in our market, it's going to be more important than many others in the metro area, simply because of our higher price points. So very exciting for you guys. Look forward to see what happens in the next year. It's going to be great. And thank you, Janie. You're wonderful.
Thank you.
Next, the Assistant Institute is here and brought us some Chick-fil-A biscuits.
So much. Oh, love the clap in the background. So, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I love that you pointed out the National Face Your Fears Day. So this is my first time speaking in a large group of people, so I'm facing my fear. Rodriguez, I'm the Client Service Specialist with the Assistant Institute. So just before I get started, just throw out a matchmaking or dating service that you ever heard of, even if you never used it. eHarmony. eHarmony. Bumble.
Hinge.
Hey, Hinge.
Farmers.com.
Hello. So when you think of matchmaking services, you can think of the Assistant Institute. We will help you make that match for real estate agents and administrative talents. So we will leverage the process of hiring for you. We do anything from a consultation with you or set up your dating profile, just to see what you need. Then we'll do the phone interview, we'll review resumes, we'll do the 2-hour in-person. We kind of go through the entire career visioning process for you. And then when you're ready, we'll go ahead and send those candidates out to you, say, hey, we got a good match. I'll be the person stalking you, giving you updates of what's going on with the process every week. But besides that, if you're not in that position where you're ready to hire just yet, we do contract to close, in-house services. We do marketing. We do listing to launch. So anything that you need, we just want to be that leverage you need to succeed. So any questions for me so far? Okay. Well, I have a little gift for y'all besides the Chick-fil-A. I'm going to come around anybody who has their business card. So sorry to everybody who's in a virtual world that you can't give me your business card. But I'm going to collect some business cards and give you guys a nice little $25 Amazon gift card.
Oh, nice.
Right, so I'll start over here.
You don't need to put it up here with it.
I never win anyway.
Do you want to write it down?
And I just think on behalf of them, I've used to hire before and they were making.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said I've used them to hire before and it was smart.
Yeah, write your name on it.
I use this one. Thank you.
Jen, can we add one more? We have someone.
One more, okay, good.
You wrote his name on a card.
That works for me, no problem. Okay. I'm gonna try to be as fair as possible. Sorry, I had to kind of improvise with this bowl here. Yeah. Sorry, Nina. Melissa.
Oh, yeah.
Problem. Thank you guys for everything. If you need to utilize our services, you have my phone number and my email address on the table. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody put your phones down for a minute. Pay attention. Now, I don't know why we have not sold this class out yet, just in our office. There's no space for everybody to do it. Guys, if you want to know that between now and this year, you're gonna get more business, typically 8 to 10 more deals, and you'll start your next year's business. This is the way to do it, but it is gonna cost you $800. What is our average sale here? Who
It's
knows
an
what it is?
investment in your business.
What's our average sale here, for I ask?
425?
We're gonna call it 400, okay?
Yeah.
Watch this, okay, 400. What's 3% of 400? What's 12 times 10?
120.
Okay, guys, so let's say that you only do 5 of those deals, okay? Is that still a lot of money?
Mhm.
So guys, so I'm gonna ask you to invest $799 and you're gonna come up with 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000. Where can you put $800 and you think kind of return on your investment? 0, guys. So guys, please consider that. If you think, well, I want to go see my wife, well, then there's a free one on the 21st. Just show up. You have to register, what I mean, guys, but it's gonna sell out, guys. This lady is the coach that coaches the bold people. She is amazing. Tammy's great. So guys, please do this. It's an investment in your future. And for $799, and if you have 2 things on the books, close now at the end of the year, we'll even pay for it for you and take it out of your next 2 closings. Questions, please see Arthur Ring. Okay, today, my number 1 on the Y4C2Ts is integrity. Doing the right thing, guys, particularly when no one's watching. When no one's watching, doing the right thing, guys. That's what integrity is. That's what sets us apart, because guys, we do the right thing. Even if look at our clients say, you know something, this is probably a bad choice for you in your house. You probably should walk away. You're thinking, oh, I need that closing. But guys, that's what integrity does for us. This is what we believe, what we live. Moving on. Now, guys, I want you to see this. This is a new high sale. This just closed. It's supposed to be a secret sale, but it was not. This is on Valley. No, it's on Valley Road, exactly in Buckhead. And this one just closed for $18.1 million. Look, what's 3% of $18 million? Somebody tell me. It's a bunch of money. It's a bunch of money. It's $500-some thousand according to Arthur Ring. And guys, this is a magnificent house, a magnificent estate, and it will be Tyler Perry's house was the one that closed the high for this at $17.5 million. Supposedly he had $40 million in the house. It's on the river in Vinings on Buckhead. Now this is the new high sale at $18.1 million, guys. That's amazing. And again, guys, it just closed. Someone from Atlanta Fine Homes had the buyer, and Glennis Beecham from Glennis Beecham, so she's the one that has a quiet listing. So amazing, guys. So congratulations to whoever got this. Good. I wish it'd been me rather than you. So next, guys, we're going to talk about trunk or treat. Tell us about it.
Okay, I think you've been hearing little snippets, but the signs are up and the reservations are being taken. So this is going to be an event where you can invite your clients at no cost to you. We're going to have face painting, little activities for the kids. Sorry, I forgot what the camera is. But we don't have people signed up yet. So we have 3 reservations. So it's going to be a very lonely trick or treat if we can't get more folks coming. So please invite your clients. You're welcome to come with your kids. Kimberly sent out a link, so please use that link to sign up, because we need to know how many pumpkins to buy for the kids to paint. We need to let the landlord know how many we have here on the weekend. So it should be a lot of fun. And like I said, just a great way for you to touch your clients in your database. Oh, and we are gonna be asking for some help. We're gonna do a cookie walk. So even if you're not gonna come to the trunk or treat, we could love to have like a dozen cookies donated. So we can use those for the kids.
Great, great.
You can bring them in next week.
If
I can go
anybody's
buy
worried
great
about
cookies.
missing a ball game that Saturday, we're gonna have this
Oh,
spring
yes.
paddy wagon with ball games on.
And Georgia has a pie, so you know, that's okay.
Guys, it's just a great opportunity for you to invite clients. I say, and guys, even if they can't come, you call them and invite them to a free opportunity. And so do you get credit for that? Yes.
But then we need you to come. If you send your clients, we need you to come too.
That's right, Joe. Okay, great. Coaching is not scary. All right, Arthurine.
Barry or Carrie?
Well, Barry could be scary. I said that, I've done it for a long time.
All right, so coaching isn't scary, guys. Just come see us. No strings attached, no investment to yourselves. Come see either me, Barry, or Carrie, and we will sit with you and set up your last quarter and your first quarter. No strings attached. Yeah, I know, it's great.
Again, I don't know why these coaches are not full, because they both have run good teams, that they've done well. And I don't know why you don't do this, because guys, if you want to start to play golf at whatever age, you get a coach. Why you don't have a coach for this is just beyond me, but it took me 27 years in the business before I got my own coaches, so I was a slow learner evidently. And my coaches in my life. Real Estate Conversations and Lead Gen, led by Arthurine Johnson. Guys, this is wonderful. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8:30. Come and just hang out with these people because they're learning some great scripts and they're getting their energy started. It's great.
And the results.
And the results are
Lots of
showing.
results, yeah.
Results are showing, guys. So what you focus on,
Spend.
it expands. That's right. And moving on, inputting listings into Remind, taught by Kimberly Griffin. Let's give her a hand for out the box. College is doing public speaking. And we got some, I'm proud of her for doing that. And that's going to be taught, it's going to be October the 13th, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. how you put it in Remind. And please remind them about Remind. What is that?
So Remind is a program in your FMLS to where you can input a listing and it'll go to FMLS and Georgia MLS at the same time.
So you
I'll
know
show
about
you a
this,
couple
guys.
other things as well.
Of course, you're not coming to bowl, not getting coached. You may not have no listings, which makes you listless.
Okay.
Okay, because that was funny. Give me a break. Code of ethics course, you have to have this. In the state of Georgia, when you renew your license, it's taught by Alita, and it'll be Thursday, October the 14th, 9:30 to 12:45. Do not put this off. They will take your license away from you if you don't have it when you renew your license. $20, guys, what a deal. Guys, what else what's going on? Group coaching, real estate, and social media. Tell us about this.
And so Eric Benjamin, who is in one of our sister market centers, he makes a living by getting lots and lots of business off of social media. So we're gonna have him teach next week and it will be by Zoom. And so everybody will have the link. So I know there are a lot of people who have fear of cold calling. You don't have to. You just have to lead generate and find your one thing and do it. So, and this could be one of your things.
Yep. So several years ago, Eric shared with us in bold that if his $250,000-$260,000 he made year before, $65,000 or $85,000 came from social media. $65,000 to $85,000 came from media. Which means, guys, if you just did that one thing, you could still earn a pretty good living in real estate. So come look at Eric, he is very good at this. Working with lead generators, taught by Barry Wolford, one of our coaches. That's going to happen October 20th, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. And he can tell you how to do that. Thank you, Barry. Command for Happy Home. This is our own Kevin Jackson. If you're like, well, Jim, I don't know what to do with Command. What do I do? Well, call in. You can even hide behind a screen with no video and ask Kevin dumb questions. So I may need to do that myself. All right. So now we're going to do one of our favorite things, which is talk about first listings.
First closings. It gives me pleasure, especially when I see a new agent come in and just head down, hard up, and their business thrives. And you know about this, Adrian, right? Because you're smiling. You were the rookie of the year last year. So I've got a couple of these to hand out to some of my peeps. So the first one is first listing ever, Dennis.
Oh, Dennis.
Four. Wow. How are he's doing yet? So this is for you because you've had listings. And how long have you been in our office?
1 month, 2 months.
Well, he's not the most outgoing person in the whole world. He's a little more quiet, not a big mouth like me, okay? Yet he's out there getting listings. Guys, what it is take a big person out to get listings? No, he takes doing the job. That's it. Let's give him one more hand. So guys, you can do it if you just show up. All right.
Gina Forbes, I saw you.
Yeah.
Why aren't you here, girl? First listing.
Hey, Gina.
Who else? Kimberly Cross.
Yeah.
She shows up, she cries it out, we hug it out, and then we're doing great business. I'm so proud of
Let's
you.
give her one time. I'll say it one more time.
I
She
said,
got
ask.
at an open house.
Yeah.
Yes, her listing, they were at Libby's open house. Yeah. But open house doesn't work. Well, they work when you work them.
Yes.
Yes, they do. All right. And you're saying yes because your very first one was an open house and the sale was $600,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Lakia Roper, I don't see you here.
Her name is Nina.
Yeah.
Nina.
Nina. All right. How do you say that? Sharia Michelle. This will be downstairs in my office for you. And who else? Oh, first closings. Yes.
Money.
A lot of first closings. All right, money. First one, Nina. All right, Robert May.
Ready, Robert?
Sharia in your box. All right, and then this is Jim's favorite thing to do. Yes.
The ones of you out there,
Oh.
I'm not gonna look at anybody that goes, well, Jim, the business is just dead. I don't have any business. Really? Once you think, Jim, you can't get listings for your first year, going, okay, really? Jim, our open house just never worked. A friend of mine told me that. Keep believing that. And the rest of them do the business and get the business. So keep believing that, guys. Or you can go to our coaching program and find
That's
out
what
that's
I was
not
gonna
real.
say, or come in the mornings. I mean, what does Gary say? Just win your day by 11 a.m. That's it. Win the day by 11 a.m. Come downstairs. We have so much fun. Come get some energy, get some listings, get to the closing table and get some money. What does your Christmas look like?
Christmas money, guys. Guys, you can't make it here if you could have like most any place, which is great. Congratulations to our September capper. Capper means what, you all? 100% of the money. But Jimmy, if this other company, they do your flyers for you, I'm going, is that worth $25,000, $35,000, $45,000 too? Really? Talk to Barry what he thinks about that. No cussing, Barry. No cursing, Barry. All right, guys. Karen Cohen, let's give her a hand. Way to go, Karen. Donna Churchill, way to go, Donna. I was one of my children that wandered to another company and then she decided she better wander back here because that was not working so well for her, guys. And so, guys, we got it going. Way to Donna. I'm proud of you. I'm glad you're back and I'm glad that you capped so quickly. Dottie Dow. Let's give Dottie a hand. Yay, Dottie. proud of you, Lottie. I'm proud of you, Lottie. Gina Ford, way to go, Gina. And Tom Griswold. Bo Dry, way to go, Bo. Way to go, Bo. Lilia. Come on, Lilia. How many times have you done that? She just keeps talking. Hey. Tracy. Ryan Lewis, cap one more time. Missy Monborg, Missy, way to go. Way to go. Ivan. Okay, buddy. I'm ready, buddy. What's next? Ken Qualters, coach. Wonderful that all three of our coaches cap, and they cap regularly. Rather than some companies where they go, I've never capped, but I sold one house 10 years ago, so I love our coaches being that good. Way to go, Carrie. I'm proud of you. Marlene, way to go, Marlene. Christopher Word, way to go, Christopher.
Yes, and he's captain Florida too.
He capped in Florida also. Chris, you're a great talent. Way about Friday, man.
Can we get that as his hat?
Bo, come on, Bo. Exactly right. Way to go, Bo. Let's give him a hand, guys. Melissa Rayburn, yay! Companies that I used to be so associated with, where they kept all her money, right, Melissa? Exactly right. And she wouldn't win. I'm giving her money so she can have a nice beach house. I'll come here and take the money myself. Let's give her a hand, you guys. Oh, here we go. Great. Let's give her a hand, guys. She's another one that does what? Shows up. And we have Samantha Wynn. Way to go, Samantha. Out there in television land. Shane, way to go, Shane. Captain again.
All right, my very favorite. Okay. How many of you know that there are forms in the GAR that are called notices? Okay.
Notices.
Okay.
Michelle, notices and not notifications.
Notices.
Gotcha.
Notice. How many notices, variations of notices are there in the GAR forms? That's stretching it. Well, we're here to broaden your mind this morning. What would you guess?
6.
Lower.
Three.
Three. You win. I don't know what you win, but you win. Well, there are 3 notices, and they're good to use because how many of us, and Amanda, don't you say a thing, do things to give notice by email and text? And is that really acceptable legally.
You have the form?
No,
No?
not if you didn't fill this out, because you are conversing with another agent, whether it be the listing agent or the selling agent. Are you two involved in the contract to make it a true contract other than you're signing? No, so you can't do that, and do it, correctly, okay? So there's actually 3 forms that, that if you look at them at face value, it could be a little confusing, but there's an F-285 called Notice to Withdraw Offer, and there's an F-288 Notice to Reject Offer, Counter Offer, and then F-816, which is just simply called Notice. So what I'm going to do is quickly tell you what they are. What I would suggest is you print these out and read them yourself. But on the Notice to Withdraw Offer, I'm going to read this to you and tell me when we use it. It says buyer or seller, you check which one that you're representing hereby gives notice to all parties of the immediate withdrawal of the signer's last counteroffer to purchase or the above referenced property. When would you use that?
Before it's binding.
Before it's binding. That's right. So there's 2 things that I thought of, and maybe you can think of more. If you're representing the buyer, when might you use that? Angela.
If they unethically put 2 offers on a house.
Well, okay, I wasn't thinking that way, but that's correct. That could be. You know, if they both got due diligence, okay, you know, you're during that time where they can, but what if your buyer has buyer's remorse? Have you ever had that where there's 18 offers or 2 offers or whatever, and they go, you know what, I don't want to do this. So you would use that to pull it out, because remember, your buyer has already signed it. So what if the seller signs it and then binds it and there was no due diligence? Uh-oh. So you got to be careful, and you got to think these things through. The other one, why would the seller use it?
They got a better offer.
Yeah.
Hey, they got a better offer, would be why you would use that on that. So that's F-285, and that has to do with your purchase before you've agreed to it. The F-288 just simply says that they're rejecting the last offer or counteroffer received by the signers below. So now we've gone past the purchase. We're in there. When would you use these?
I have a question for the other one. What's the time span?
The time
From
span?
going binding to submitting that?
No, I mean, once you've been noticed of binding, this does not work.
So this is just, you're sending an offer and you're
And you
going back
haven't
and
gotten
forth with the
anything
county.
back. That's right. And I have seen this used where someone thought they could lollygag and get the offer back to the listing agent when they had time from whatever they were doing, and their buyer lost the house because the seller got a better offer. Thank goodness the buyer was the same as the agent. Can you imagine telling someone you were out doing something and you missed it? So does that explain that for you? Okay, so the notice to reject offer, counter offer, when might you use that? All right, for time's sake, I'm going to answer it for you. You could be going back and forth in an ATAC, the amendment to address concerns. I've seen that used before. You could be doing between purchase price, you know, where the appraisal came in and you're negotiating now because it didn't come in, or right to repair. I've seen it used there. And the last notice is a kind of an all-encompassing notice. I like this one, and we use it. We don't use it enough. Have you ever gotten into a discussion or lack of discussion with another agent where you're getting nothing back? You're not hearing anything. You don't know what the notice is. A pretty good little thing, and your buyer or your seller will sign it. You could use it during earnest money. What if you didn't get a copy of the earnest money? Give notice. Give notice if you haven't received it. It gives them 3 days to correct it. If they don't, then the seller has the right to pull out of a contract because they didn't live up to the contract. During the financing, you've got a buyer that, or your seller hasn't gotten notice that the buyer has gotten their financing, you can request a loan commitment letter. And if you don't get it, it gives the seller an opportunity to move on. And for a walkthrough, I see this all the time. You know, there's an argument on a walkthrough when you go in. I mean, the walkthrough can be at any time because your contract simply says they can go in there. But give notice. This way, there's not a he said, she said, there's not a confusion. It's all in writing and it's in your file. Any questions on this? So now we know how many notices there are? 3, that's right. So if you have any questions, let us know. Sherry and I can answer them. All right, let's move on to the fun stuff.
We're going to take a minute break here. Chris, come on up front for a second. So guys, we've been talking about Bold. Yesterday I met with a couple agents. We talked about Bold. And I want Chris to tell you about how Bold's helped him and sort of a little bit about why he's taken, how many times now, Chris?
5, this is my 6th time.
Okay, great. Right, so what, I mean, are you not smart? You're just taking over and over and over and over and
The
over.
saying we use is, no man walks in the same river twice. I think it's the saying. So I took when I first started 3.5 years ago, ended up about real estate. So for me, it's just immersive and learning. Each subsequent time was I learned something new each time. I was a different agent. The course material didn't change much, but just something different each time, different aha each moment. And so you also have groups that you're part of. So it's not just you alone, it's you and your group. You script practice, you mastermind. So I have an agent from Cityside or Peachtree Road that I never met, never knew, and now they're a friend or a partner. So for me, it's also building friendships and networks.
And Chris, and you're taking it, why are you taking it right now? Why are you taking it again? Why right now?
Sure. So the work you do now shows up in a few months. So the idea is you want to start off 2022 strong, put the work in now. If your business is slower right now, because it's cyclical, it's the best time to do it. You wait till Q2 or Q3 when you're busy, it's hard to find that time to put in once, 1 day a week. Right now, I have time built in my schedule to do it. So know if I do it now in October, November, part of December, I'm set up for January, February, March to springboard get strong next year.
Does anybody have any questions of Chris about Bold? Because he's there taking you guys. I haven't taken it in a couple of years, and I've taken it 3 or 4 times. Any questions of Chris?
Is it in person?
It's in person this time. So I've done, the first 2 I did were in person, the next 3 were online, now I'm back to in person. In person is a huge difference. To be honest, I don't really love online. Because part of Bold is the connection. Angela and I took it together, and it was great to have that, the camaraderie, you feel people all working towards one thing in the same room. The conversations you have online, you miss a lot of that, just to be honest. So back in person, I highly recommend it.
It's the difference of just what we experience here with the capping and the first listing and the first closing. People, when you're here in this office, you see the excitement, you see the camaraderie, you see people cheering each other and the hurrah. That's what in person is. Online, you're seeing it, you're clapping with, but it's not the same energy.
It's not. It's great too when you end up co-opting an agent you met in Bold. When you call us with an offer, they already know you. And they want to work with you. They saw you showed up, you work for your business, the odds are you'll show up for this contract. So it helps, it's really helpful considering that KW is #1 in Atlanta to see another listing from agent it helps you a lot win deals. Or it helps you, I've done this before, I think I've called Angela on a question. Sometimes a listing in a neighborhood, you want to learn more about it, or how did you price it? Well, if you can call Angela because she had the listing, you were in Bold with her, hey, this is Trish from Bold, we had class at Sandy Springs, back in October, you had a listing in this neighborhood on Main Street. How'd you price it? What'd you figure out? They're more inclined to want to help you in return because they saw you again show up in Bold. It's helped my business, not just on the transaction side, as far as getting deals done, as far as serving my buyers at a higher level or my clients at a higher level.
Last time I've been involved, we have created a whole community on Facebook.
Yeah.
And every time when I need to refer or I'm looking for referrals from out of state, I'm going to Bold Group.
Yep.
And I had a client who was moving from North Carolina, he found me on Facebook and he asked me if I can refer him to somebody in Carolina, way, in a place where they lived for multiple years. And I found the person on a Bold group, and they were so happy.
Yeah, the Facebook page is a great way to
Both
network.
ways.
Get referral. I've gotten referrals on that page, but it's also good to ask questions on there. There are other agents like us that want to be successful, and so you're choosing Bold because you put your business first. So it's a great resource, that Facebook page, and you only get in if you're in Bold. And once you take Bold once, you're in that Facebook page forever. So you don't have to like renew kind of thing. Once you're part of the group, you belong in that group. It is a great resource.
Any other questions? Anybody from television land want to ask Chris a question? Guys, if you think I get money from Bold, you know, sign up, like I do. Called profit share, friend of the department who gets like that. But the reason why you do that because it's going to make you a better agent, and you will finish strong and start growing next year. That's why I push so much. So, Chris, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for what you do for Ignite. Chris told me he's going to give back the way others have poured into him. So, guys, let's give Chris a hand.
Yourself, that's what you're doing. I know $800 seems like a lot of money. Get one transaction from it, pays for itself, right? Actually do Bold the right way, you'll get 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 transactions, and that more than pays for itself. If nothing else, you're growing. Libby and I are doing it together. I think Arthur Green's doing it. I encourage you guys to do it. If you have any questions, please call, text me, find me in my office. I'll be happy to answer more. But I really think the investment's worth it.
And guys, please don't let $700, $800 get away.
Don't let that deter you from doing something.
Come see one of us and see if we can work something out. All right,
Yeah.
thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Part agent needs, who's got buyers that they're working with, but not found that ideal home and that needs our help. Okay, so first, state your name, especially for those in TV land that don't necessarily see.
Okay, I'm Adrienne Beery, and I have a buyer up to 350 in Marietta, Kennesaw, Ackworth, about 3 buyers looking in that area.
In that price. Okay, all right.
At least 3 bedroom, 2 bath.
Good door knocking opportunities for agents to go find you something, right?
Yeah.
Good, okay, great. Who else?
I'm multiple complicated needs. What how complicated I am. So one is a lady, she's a Korean skincare consultant, so she's looking for a mixed use property. Hopefully, like an office where it's small office, and then on top she wants to live. So I have started to research, but I would welcome any help on that.
What area?
Alpharetta, Roswell, Norcross. Price point 3 to 4.
I have a great idea for you in Douglasville.
And so that the people in TV land, please state your name.
Nina Chopra. Who won this thing, by the way?
Oh.
You earned it.
There.
On my first one.
Okay.
Anyhow, and my second need is even more complicated. So this lady is a doctor, very good friend of mine, and she's looking to build her own clinic. So she's looking for a big parcel of land, but she also wants to put her house in the back. I've suggested her we keep it separate. So I want you guys to advise what is the best way, because I feel, oh, Jeff's gone. Okay. That if we put it house in the back and clinic in the front, it becomes a commercial load, right, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the zoning.
And it'll be a clinic, so it becomes a medical clinic, so the zoning is obviously a big issue. And so that's what I'm researching. I'm trying to keep for separate residential and commercial. So if anybody has advice, please make me separate.
Thank you. Who else has someone? Okay, Rusty.
Rusty Clark, I need something update 50K in either Pope or Walton. 3,500, 4,000 square feet. I could probably find out the one I'm really struggling with is up to 700,000 within walking distance of either downtown Roswell, downtown Woodstock, or downtown Marietta.
In Pope District.
No, this is a different buyer. One buyer.
Oh, okay.
Coke Walton.
I was confused. I want to make sure.
The others, it could be a townhouse, it could be, it's a
Okay.
single person, they want to be within walking distance,
Okay,
but they have expensive taste, they want a really nice place up to, like I said, 650,
so
700.
there's actually two.
Two.
Gotcha. Okay, good. Oh, yeah.
Two bars, one in Woodstock High School. We need up to 3.
Hi, Tony. Good thing.
Split area, split level, but one of the biggest issues, we need a good level lot. Second one is Toulouse, Swanee, Lilburn, Norcross, Three Corners. The same up to 400, 360, 400, and we need the same with the 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Preferably on a living condition instead of without.
Okay, and your name?
Lilia Ketori.
Thank you. All right, Grace.
Grace Thompson. I have a buyer who's looking preferably a new build in coming 4-year-old. 3 to 4 bedrooms, owner suite on Main, and with about half an acre of land. You can go up to 900 to 1 million. We did see a lot, but they want them to bid on the dirt where it even goes anywhere. So he wants to know if anyone else knows anything.
Check Toll Brothers.
His Toll Brothers want them to bid on the dirt.
Oh, okay. Bid on the dirt for Toll Brothers. Okay. Okay. All right, how about TV Land? I know you all are out there working. Anybody?
I'm good, but I'm not TV Land.
Okay, Arthur Reed is not TV Land, but Arthur Reed
Okay,
Johnson.
so
go
I've
ahead.
got a couple of them that I would like help with, and it is that sweet price point. So I've got 2 300 for Cobb County. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathroom, one of them just needs a little man area. Got a 300,000 for Decatur or Conyers. And he needs an outbuilding for a studio, a place where he can just be a man and create. So I have 2 for Sprayberry, that's up to 450. Sprayberry, Marietta High. I've got 1 for 550 in Brazelton, Swanee, Buford, or Cumming, 3-car garage. And then Mabry Middle for 500. And then I've got another townhouse. I sent yours to her for 250 Cobb County. And these are all qualified and ready to go. It's just this year, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever had that many buyers pre-qualified and pre-approved and ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and the nice thing is because the length of time it takes, they can get pre-qualified. So, okay.
Pre-approved.
Pre-approved, absolutely. Yvette, did I see your hand up? Okay,
Yes.
please.
Good morning, Yvette Barajas. I have a couple as well, buyers, we are with buyers now, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. One of them is looking on Lawrenceville, up to 550, 3,000 square footage, 4 bedrooms or more. And then I have another one on Douglasville, Dallas, Powder Springs, up to 280. Actually, I have 2 buyers on that, the same area, up to 280 and 300. And then I have another one on Carisville, needs to be more than 5 acres, and he can go up to 350, no more than 400. Those are the buyers.
All right, thank you. So anything out in TV Land? If not, we'll start with our coming soon. So anybody can jump in. Any coming soon? Rusty.
I've got coming next Thursday, it's 5 bedroom, 4 bath in Smyrna. It's about 10 minutes from Vining, about a mile from 285, so easy access. It's a 5 bedroom, 4 bath, 3,900 square feet. It has the chef kitchen, the keeping room with the fireplace, master bedroom with sitting area, fireplace. Really nice size, flat level backyard, so good property.
Price.
About
Right.
600K, we haven't settled yet.
Okay, all right, great, thank you, Rusty. Amanda,
I have, Amanda Warren, I have 2 townhouses coming in Ackworth, Kennesaw, same neighborhood, under 250. So 2 bedrooms, 2.5
near
bathrooms.
Kennesaw.
Yeah,
State
city of
University.
Kennesaw, right off Wade Green.
Okay, good location.
No rentals.
All right, Yvette?
Yvette Barajas again, listing, I have one coming up on Conyers this weekend. It has like 4 bedrooms and 2, I would say, 4 bedrooms and a finished basement, and it's going to be 400 on Kennesaw. I have another one on Kennesaw. This one has 4 bedrooms, 3 full baths, totally renovated for 330. Marietta, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, for 400. Atlanta, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. This is a fixer upper, 260.
Good, any price point. Who else? Lilia.
Lily again, Alpharetta, cluster for community Mediterranean style, 4 bedrooms, on the main levels, plus full finished basement, bar and movie theater. It is in Rivermont general area. We are planning to put it for 650. Another, just mentioned 2 lots in Alpharetta in Forsyth County. In the gated community, one almost 0.9 acre, and second lot is 0.6 acres. So basement lots, custom builder. We can build a house without beating war on a lot for your client, and your client has a chance to choose floor plan. Gated community, they right now selling between 5 and 7.5. I mean 750. Thousand houses, no pools, no amenities besides gate, but lots big enough so you can put your own.
And where was that?
It is Alpharetta in Forsyth, but it is literally in the west Forsyth High School district, but it's literally, I don't know how Alpharetta pitched in there. It's kind of like between Post Road and campground.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody if I can hear it.
Thank you. Anybody in TV land? Okay, going once, going twice. If you forgot or you were doing something else, post it on the chat box if you'd like. All right, I think we're done with that. Fantastic. Want me to keep going?
No.
I'm finished. Okay. Well, not really. I'm not really finished. Anyway, I want our panel to come on up. And we've got Libby Bramlett and Adrian Gary and Amanda and Chris Van Zandt. Sadly enough, Anya was not feeling well today. So I know because she had a doozy also.
Sure.
Jim and I get to hear all these stories when we're kind of navigating through them for the most part. And so when coming up with something, we wanted to make it light. I think all of us have been in situations where we think, am I the only agent that gets in this pickle? And they're not. So let's go ahead. First, introduce yourself. And then we're going to.
I'm Chris Van Zandt.
Okay.
Libby Bramlett.
Adrian Gary.
Amanda Warren.
Okay. All right. Have I gotten to talk with you about different things? And you probably have talked with Jim.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, here we go. This is just supposed to be fun and informative. So I'm going to start with, I'm just going to simply say, even though Anya is not here, I'm gonna tell you, she had a doozy of a client. We'll hear about it later, but so much so the client flew in and decided she wasn't gonna close if Anya didn't take her to closing, which meant pick her up. Anya and she had outs, and about an hour and a half before closing took place, I get the call from the lovely client and complains about this situation. And I began to understand why Anya said, pass, I don't care. So she wanted to know if we would pay for her Uber because we're supposed to. And I said, no, that's not it. But I didn't worry for Anya because she had worked so hard to get it to that point. I did not want it to fall through and the client to become in breach of contract. So I called her back and I said, I will come pick you up. Now, do not remember this part because I don't do this all the time, but I said, I'll come pick you up. So luckily the closing was downstairs. So I drove as quickly as I could over to Cumberland area, picked her up and she goes, you took a long time. So I said, okay, well, I'm sorry, hop on in. And she goes, I don't like this model of Lexus. And I said,
And it's in the car.
and it was my brand new car. And I said, well, I bet it's better than the Uber that was coming. So we're walking. And then she played the age card and I looked at her and I said, I believe you're younger than me. And so she was a challenge. But this is a good one for Anya to start from the beginning. I just know the last hour and a half was horrendous. So,
But what a leader.
oh, I tell you. This, but I'm never doing it again.
Jesus loves you.
And when she got out, she was happy. I said, go have a good life. Goodbye. Anyway, let's start with the people that have so kindly given their time. And Chris, I'm going to start with you because you're the closest. I want you to give me a brief description of your transaction and what made it crazy, and then we'll go into it a little bit.
Sure. So mine's not as silly as fun as that. Mine's more the nightmare. So mine was a referral from another agent, and it was her sister trying to buy her very first house. It was a house she actually was living in and currently renting. They financing for them was really challenging. Basically, they were buying a house as is. They could barely afford it as it was, and needed a lot of help. But they were in their 50s and 60s, and they're trying to buy their very first home. So I knew it was important to them to have a life. She literally at one point cried on the phone and said, I've never owned a home. I've always wanted to own one. Can you please help? And of course, the answer is yes. So for sale by owner, because it's the person that she's renting from, the landlord, I get a license to show undocumented unlisted property. So I follow the rules. On that document, it says you will pay a commission to the buyer's agent. I send it to him. He reads it, he signs it, great. Go binding, go under contract, we're moving forward. We're progressing, the inspection report comes back horrible. They still want to buy the house. We're moving along. The seller goes silent, radio silent, does not reply to phone calls, texts, emails, nothing. And we're trying to at least close. I finally get a hold of him and he basically says, I'm not paying you commission, it's not my job. And I said, that's not how it works with real estate. Sellers don't pay commission. And I said, actually, it's exactly how it works in real estate. And you signed a document stating that you would. He's like, well, if I sign it, I didn't mean to, therefore I don't pay it. I may have got angry. I may have gotten slightly aggressive, but not to the point like I was a complete jerk. But I kindly reminded him, you signed a document, a legal document binding yourself to pay my commission. He goes, great, I'm not selling the house and I refuse to do it. At that point, he goes radio silent, won't reply to Thomas and Brown, won't do anything. Meanwhile, my poor client, the buyer, is being kicked out of her home, has no money to go anywhere else. This is like her one shot to get a house in her lifetime. And so I had to make a decision, how do I solve this? And so I called the referral agent that gave it to me. And I said, here are the choices. Either I did my heels in the ground, I told Michelle the same thing, and fight for my commission. And I might get it, might, but odds are your sister will lose the house. The only option I have is to give up my commission. It's the only choice I've got. And she says, why would you do that? And I said, because your sister's house is more important than my money. End of story. And she's like, why would you? So I said, why? I go, it's the way our culture is. It's what we're taught to do. And she's like, wow. She had never told you this. I'm gonna say I was transactional go. She's my whole family lives in Atlanta. I have referrals for you forever now. And I was like, it was worth it. But the point of the story was I did the right things. I had to do the right thing. But the nightmare was this jerk of a seller.
Some owners are hard.
It was a challenge. And I really had to basically, I actually remember pacing in the parking lot outside there back. I didn't want to talk in the office. I was so loud and basically screaming at one point. So people saw me pacing. I was probably the crazy person pacing. But I basically had to tell them what you're doing is wrong, unethical, and illegal. I'm gonna give my money because you don't understand the process and you think you're right, and I know that you're wrong. And I just laid it out there for him and basically told him what he was doing was wrong. In the end, we closed the deal. She got the house, but it was the seller was crazy for sell by owner. So for me, the moral of this is you're asking what I do differently, I'm sure.
Right, that was my next question.
I don't know if I did any differently. He was educated that he had to pay my commission. He just decided the last thing he didn't want to.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. I could have fought it. I don't know what it would have done for me because he could have dug his heels in the sand and where that have ended up. So he knew he had to pay commission. I sent him the document and showed it to him before I ever signed anything else. It was the first paper he ever signed was that one. Wasn't like I went under contract and then tried to slide it in there, which he accused me of. But luckily, everything's timestamped. So like, surprise, buddy, it's the first thing we signed. We all know it. So to do differently, I got the wrong seller. And then I can't change that. But I would say any other for sale by owner you get, making sure they know they're paying the commission.
So would you point that out to them before showing the house?
I would.
Well,
I
in this
did.
case, they were in the house, so.
They were already in the house, which
Yeah.
that's what made it so challenging was the fact they were already living in the house they were buying.
Yeah.
So now he's like, all right, fine, I'll kick them out. And so it's like, all right, now they're on the street. Yeah, sorry, he is, he's a bad person. The choice is being homeless on the street or making my commission up. And the only choice you make, we should all make at that point, is just giving up your commission.
Yeah.
It'll come back to you later. And it so happens that this being another agent, who sent it, I'll get more referrals. That woman, the other agent tags me on Facebook posts constantly about what I did for her sister. Doing the right thing is always the right choice regardless of the transaction. It's not our dollar. It really never should be. We treat people like a dollar.
Yeah.
It'll be one transaction done. Right, it shows. You treat people like people and show compassion. You're not in this for the next year. You're in this for the next, however long you want to do it, next 20, 30, 50 years. Why not make the right choice the first time? It'll come back to you in the end.
Thank you.
That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
All right, Libby.
Mine's a nightmare. Mine's not
Yes.
funny.
No, I mean, they're all nightmares in
Yeah.
the moment too. It's like you laugh later at them so you don't cry. That's what I was telling Amanda, I was like, how am I making money? I'm like, you laugh so you don't cry.
Yeah.
That is a secret of real estate. No, I have had a doozy of a year. I've had my best year ever, which is great, but I've also talked to Michelle more than ever because I have had some horrible, out of 57 transactions, there's 4 of them that really stand out. I'm not gonna do 4 because I know we don't have to wrap up here. But I'll talk about the one with the co-op agent who was severely uneducated, because that was just a different perspective. Everybody's used to nightmare clients in some way, shape, or form, but a co-op agent was rough. So the situation is I'm selling a condo in town, and the condo, and this was only a month or two, I think it closed a month ago. So pretty recently, but the condo market's a little different, right? It's not crazy, it's not super competitive. We had been on the market, can't remember if it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but I was kind of doing my normal script with my seller of like, hey, been on the market a couple weeks, people have seen it, I've done open houses, like, I've done my job, I've marketed the home, the market is saying no to your price. So let's not do anything yet. I think it must have been week 2. I said, but I'm gonna do one more open house this weekend, and let's just plan next week, we're gonna reduce the price. And I had had that conversation on a Thursday, I think, and a Friday, it was like 10 o'clock on Friday. And I'm not a night person, so I usually don't work then. But I got an offer that was like too good to be true. Shocker. But I got a full price nice offer with a 3-day due diligence and like and a 7-day financing and appraisal contingency on this condo. And I was like, what? Never talked to the agent. I knew she had seen it because I had talked to her when she was showing it, but I was like, this is insane. And I called my seller, because I know she's up late, and I'm like, hey, I hate to call you so late, but like, what do you think of this? I feel like we should lock it in, because if we sign it tonight, due diligence starts tomorrow. If we sign it tomorrow, they get a whole nother day for due diligence. And when it's 3 days, it's like, whoo, that matters a lot. So I stayed up late, getting this contract binding, and I was like, okay, let's do this. I didn't think of it, because again, at the time, I probably had 6 or 7 under contract. It's like you have a lot going on and you're like, but I thought about it and I was like, oh, it's Sunday. Today's the last day of due diligence. And I was like, I didn't even hear if she had an inspection. So I text her, which is like, usually I wouldn't even do, because I'm not that nice. It's not my job to remind you when due diligence ends, okay? I usually don't, but I text her and I say, hey, I just want to check in, are you doing an inspection? Because this condo was built in the 50s and it is quirky and it was not going to be clean, and I knew that. And I said, hey, just check in, are you doing an inspection? Didn't get a response for 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
She texted me back on Monday and says, hey, yeah, we're running over there now for an inspection. I said, that's great. Just so you know, due diligence is over. Feel free to do an inspection. You're welcome to do an inspection. It's your right to do an inspection. My seller will not be doing repairs, period. Because that is my job, is to represent the seller's best interests. So she, and then I looked up her license number. And then I realized, oh, this is your very first transaction. And then I looked up her brokerage and said, oh, and you have 0 training. I was like, you don't know what the heck you're doing. And it became very obvious pretty quickly. And she was like sending me this list of like, your seller needs to do this and that. And I'm like, again, please discuss with your broker. Due diligence is over, we're not doing repairs. And was trying to be kind about it. It was like, and she would never talk to me on the phone. I was like, I'm happy to walk you through this. Like, I know this is your first transaction. Like, never really took me up on it. And it was like, that's when I really realized, oh God, we're in for a ride. We're in for a ride here. Let's just see what happens. Same thing happens with financing and an appraisal. It passes. We're communicating with our lender, but it's, kind of the minimum. And I'm like, well, did it appraise? Did it appraise? Did it appraise? Oh, okay. Well, it's passed, so I hope it did. Because otherwise we're keeping insurance money. And at that point, I just don't feel bad. Like, we never even asked for an extension. Like, so it was just kind of like that the whole time. And it was past financing contingency a week before closing. And we're checking with financing again, because that's like part of our thing, is we're checking with financing. And she's like, yeah, the file looks good. We're just sending it to Atlanta Housing. I'm like, what?
No.
And I'm thinking, what the heck? Yeah, I'm not as smart as Angela. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, I've done hundreds of Atlanta Housing. Why would you have to send this to Atlanta Housing? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's a down payment assistance program. Which she told me, this was a 3-week closing and a 7-day financing. And it was on the contract, she was putting 12.5% down. So there was no indication, there was no disclosure that she was using a down payment assistance program. And for those of you that are new agents, down payment assistance programs are great, but they really take minimum 45 days. Really closer to 16.
But not with the tree. How about down payment assistance closing in 10 days?
Yeah.
You're right. Georgia Dream,
Georgia
down
Dream.
45, 60, those.
Yeah. And honestly, yeah, so it was down payment, and I lit up and I lit into her. And at this point, I was no longer talking to the agent. I was talking to the person who identified as her broker, who was not her broker. I think it was her mentor. Yeah, but it was not, she referred to herself as her broker, and so did the agent. And it wasn't until Michelle, she was like, this is not a broker. I'm like, oh my God.
I called them out.
Of course. So anyway, long story short, miracle of miracles, we get it done. And it's literally because I'm talking to the lender's mom, who runs the lending company. And she is like, you know what? I pulled every favor, and it was not because of my clients, it was because of you and your seller. I realized your seller is not at fault here. It's not her fault that this happened. And this also, like, it closed 3 weeks late. It was just like a mess the whole time. We got more earnest money, we got a little bit more option money, but it was just like, a freaking disaster. And 24 hours ahead of time, I was like, all right, cool, we're gonna keep your earnest money, we're gonna relist, like, we're gonna do this, we're fine. We had 2 backups, of course, they were gone by then, but it's like, we're just gonna keep rolling. But it actually closed, and it was literally only because the lender took pity on me and my seller. It was a nightmare, and literally, I think every condo I've sold this year has been a nightmare. So I'm just saying, single family, less lucky stars when you get to sell a single family home. It's so much easier.
So what would you do differently?
I would have just gone to bed. And in the morning, I would have called the agent and also looked at her license number and been like, tell me more about your client, tell me more, you know, and done the thing that I normally do.
Call the lender.
Well, and I'm like, I know a lender like that. It was not a great lender, and so I'm like, the chances of you talking to them on a Saturday morning is not gonna be very high. But just would have taken a little bit more time to do my research on the front end.
And you pointed out the brokerage.
Yes.
I tried to reach out to, they have 3 brokers.
Right.
For Georgia. And they have over 2,000 agents in Atlanta. I got 0 response from any of the brokers, so there was no support. And half of their agents out of the 2,000 have no transactions. So if you want to know who it is later, we'll tell you.
And I would say the one thing that did work in my favor is my seller. My seller was somebody that is has anxiety, and I knew that before I ever entered into it. I was like, she's just going to be an extra client, and I've got 2 admins kind of working on my behalf, communicating throughout the transaction, but I also was like, I'm gonna have to step in. And there was literally a point where we were talking on the phone multiple times a day, every day. It was this, and also like, no offense to it, but I'm like, this is a $200,000 transaction.
And you're trying to get married.
I've got much bigger deals going on. I was also like a week before my wedding, and I'm like, this is not where I want my focus to be. However, at the end of the day, I want my client to be happy, and they're not gonna be happy if they're not communicated with, especially when you know, when stuff hits the fan, you have to over communicate, or it's so easy for your client to turn on you for an issue that's really not your fault. But if you over communicate and really tell them, hey, here's what happened, here's what I'm doing, here's the next steps, here's when you'll hear from me next, and you're overdoing it, that's when they really like, they feel like, okay, we're a team, we're gonna get through this. And after closing, she's like, I have a gift for you. You don't need to get me anything. She's like, no, like you guys wrote it out, and this was crazy, this was insane. And she followed the buyer on social media. She's like, that's what she said. I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't care. So, but I feel like that's how you really save it, is by really over communicating and making sure your client is still feels taken care of, knows that you're in charge, knows that you've gotten somebody, your broker, in charge when you need to, because it's okay that you don't know all the answers.
Nobody does.
Because again, that's how you keep the referral relationship strong. That like, and it's a good, even though it's a crazy experience, she knows it wasn't on me, and that she knows. And at the end of the day, she told me she had interviewed 4 other agents, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad I chose you." You know, like as though they would have not gotten me to the closing table.
Would you work with this agent again? That particular.
If anybody gets an interview, you know, let me know. I'll give you the red flags.
So just real fast, at some point, all of us are new and all of us start off with no transactions. That's why you have our office to ask questions to. You're not that agent who writes a really bad offer and lets things go sideways. Because I look at people's numbers when they submit an offer. I want to know, I look on FMLS, how many transactions have they had? Am I negotiating with somebody who I can out negotiate, out maneuver? Or am I dealing with somebody who's just as versed as I am? But it doesn't mean a new agent's a bad agent. A new agent who doesn't ask for help is the bad agent.
Absolutely. And that's my thing. I wanted to interject, just the sad thing in that is that she didn't come to you and say,
help me out here, what's going on?
This is my first deal, I missed it, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Right.
She just completely blew everything off, so she didn't learn through the transaction at all.
And that's honestly, if she had been that learning mindset, then of course, it's like, yeah, I would work with her again, because she's gonna grow and she's gonna get better, but that was not. It was not the case in the spirit.
And she did not refer this agent to grow her downline.
Yeah,
So,
I was like,
we did not have that discussion.
No.
Thank you, Libby.
Yeah.
All right, Adrian, Gary.
Okay, well, I am the crazy in my story. I have 2. So, first of all, Michelle brought it to my attention that I had a complaint. And I was like, about me? How did I not know this? know, so this is, I call this prospecting gone wrong. This is my lead gen. So I learned all my door knocking from Libby, so I did everything she said. I go out and I'm very sweet and everything's going great. I'm in my own neighborhood and I'm saying, hey, I'm Adrian, I'm your neighbor, and here's my card. I'm a realtor if you ever need me. Everyone's great. I get to this one house. She's super sweet, has an accent, and we're getting along. And I said, and I'm a realtor. No. She starts kissing her house, her siding. I'm never selling. No, you can't get me out of here. She goes in her door, closes the glass door, and locks it while she's making eye contact. I'm like, okay, well, have a great day. So what do I do after that? I should have left it at that. No, I sent a card, like, thank you for opening the door, it was so good to meet you. I said, I promise I'll never ask for you to sell your house. I just want to get to know my neighbors, let me know if there's anything you ever need. So she calls Michelle and complains. You should probably tell, like, she thought I was taking advantage because she's from another country. She was fearing for her life.
And it's hard to tell all your stories because I have so many. I don't always remember the details, but she basically told me that Adrian was stalking her and that she was, abrasive, rude, pushy.
Oh my God, that's so nice.
I know.
Anybody that knows
And then
I almost wanted to ship some flour. Realtor.com, she's giving me a 1 star. I'm like, Michelle, I can't have a 1 star. She's like, technically, she wasn't your client. So I called Realtor.com. I'm like, I'm the nicest person I know. So they took it off. So that was good.
There you go.
So I want to tell you one more little thing of, this is a for sale by owner near my house. And I like to look around and, know what's going on. Well, it's an older gentleman. Now, this was actually listed with someone in our office at one point and it didn't sell, and then listed with another broker, didn't sell. So when I saw the for sale by owner, I wasn't sure if it was the same guy. Now I met him at an open house, so I knew who he was. So he's like, oh yeah, sure, come on over. He's like 75. He's already told me this. And so I call another realtor friend. I'm like, will you come with me? I just don't think it's wise for me to go by myself. So we go. Now I keep my hair blonde for a reason. I'm kind of, just a lot goes over my head, just the observance factor, God definitely protects me, let's just say that. So we're walking through. No, there is no. And I'm surprised I haven't lost my license in 2 years, and she keeps saying, keep doing it, it's okay. You take what? So we go in, and he's wearing, white tank top, you know what that's called. So, and then just sandals, whatever. It's sorry, that was rude. So, no filter, senior. Yes. And he's telling, I have harassment charges on my ex-wife. And this and that. I'm like, okay. And then one of the realtors, I had to go to court for that. She even said I was harassing her, and he's showing me all the documents. I'm like, okay. And then in the basement. Why'd you go to the basement? So there's like weird locks on the doors and like even like shades. Oh my God. So
You are making it up.
So then we're at the front door, thankfully near the door, my friend agent says, so when are you gonna move out? He's like, oh, whenever I get this off. What is that? So we're like, okay, well, it was so great that you think you should be leaving. And I'm like, sorry, you mad at me? And she told me later, if ever I was gonna do this, it's fun to do with Adrian. So there we go, there's my face.
Oh,
I would not work with him.
Oh, I was gonna say, are you gonna pursue the listing?
No.
Why don't you give that address so nobody else does? We'll do a safety meeting.
Yeah, I think you might need to go.
So the fishbowl was on house arrest.
There you go.
But he saw me and then he saw my car.
Oh, say that again.
I said he was on house arrest, so he couldn't leave the show. Why his house didn't sell.
So listen, I work at another lot and do the open house over there. He sees my car. So this is giving you hints. It's on Morgan Road. He sees my car because I've got the magnet. He stops in, comes in, sits down, and talking. I'm like, I thought you were on house arrest. And he's like, well, I just can't go to Florida. I can't leave the state. So I don't know. And then he takes off back off. So here we go.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Glad you're alive.
Great.
I know.
Yeah, wow. At least you got a buddy. Oh my gosh.
I
never
Is this making you all feel better?
Yeah.
That you're not the only one out
Yes.
there doing, oh, good, okay. Angela says yes.
You are just my family.
All right, we've got one more doozy here. Amanda, no, take it down.
Okay, so I had clients who were referred from another agent, they lived in LA, so their schedules were a little bit different than ours. Thankfully, I'm a night owl, so it was totally fine with that, but they could only see houses on the weekends. And they wanted their budget to be around 300, even though they were approved for twice that. And I was like, that's totally fine, you know, I'll work with whatever you want to work with. And their friend would come with us, their friend from college, and I knew it was gonna be a weird transaction when I was FaceTiming with the clients and he was taking videos, and I hear, anybody in there? And he opens the pantry.
What?
He did that for every closed door.
Oh, God.
So the laundry room, the coat closet, the pantry. Anybody in there? Every single time. And I was like, we got some weirdos. All right, we can do this. And so we put in a couple of offers and they just didn't want to be aggressive enough, like for the market. And then we finally had them come into town. They put in an offer, we got accepted, it was so exciting. And then the inspection came back. And it was poly pipes, the siding had been recalled and it was like waterlogged. And they were like, we want $75,000 off the price of this house. Off of a $370,000 house. And so I said, okay, so should I send the termination papers now, or do you really want me to talk to the other agent first? Because I know what they're gonna say.
Yeah.
And they said, talk to the agent, so I did, we had a good laugh. And then I sent the termination papers. And so it got to the point where it was like, we looked at probably 30 hours worth of houses for the week that they were in town. And that was because they spent an hour in every single house, whether they liked it or not. But I couldn't tell what they liked or what they didn't like because they had the same stupid questions for every house. What's the stain on the floor? What do you think that's from? Why do you think this chair rail is dented? Why did they do this layout? I don't live here, I don't know.
I told her to tell them dead bodies on the floor.
But the wife was afraid of ghosts, and so I couldn't say that. And so she'd be like, did anyone die in here? And I'm like, we don't really disclose that in Georgia, but I can ask if you want me to, like, it's not really a thing, but okay. And so it was just, you know, one of those where it was just like every little thing was just like a red flag to them. And then they brought their parents along too. So their parents flew in. So the videos that their friend took went to both sets of parents. One set of parents is in Miami and is an architect. The other one is an investor in Chicago. So of course, they're just shooting down every little hope and dream that these like first-time home buyers could ever have, you know? And the Chicago investor parents came down and I was just like, who am I selling this house to? You know, like, what is this? And so finally I called the referring agent because he knew the parents. And I said, what do you think I should do? Because I'm at a loss here. I've shown them above their budget, below their budget, at their budget. We have gone outside of their radius that they wanted to be in. We've stayed inside. I've shown them anything and everything I could think of. And he said, show them new construction. I said, well, they're not going to pay for new construction. He said, doesn't matter. Show them new construction. And I said, okay. And so I found a couple of new construction communities and they shot them down like immediately. They were like, that's too much money. We're not spending that much money. And then I found one little unicorn and it was built in 2020. It was still under builder warranty. For some reason she was selling. And we went and looked at it. They fell in love. It was just holy moly. Every door they opened, like they looked in the garage, they were like, holy, you know, every single door. It was just like, no knocking. Well, the friend wasn't with me this time. And it was still under builder warranty. So they got to ask for all their little quirky things that they wanted like fixed. And we got the house. And then it didn't appraise. And you know what? It didn't matter because they wanted the house that bad that they said, it doesn't matter, I'll pay over appraisal. And I said, well, hold on, let me negotiate. And I got them down to asking price again. But yeah.
Good job. Good job. And so would you work with them again?
You know, I think what I learned about this transaction is it came off as crazy, but really it was just fear. And it was just a fear-based response that they didn't know what they were doing. So they were going to the people in their lives that did know what they were doing, which was their parents. And their parents, of course, want to prove their worth and come off as overbearing and overprotective and just like spewing way too much information for these little first-time home buyers, you know? So I think because it wouldn't be their first transaction, I would work with them again.
Yeah.
But they've already said, they're like, this is our forever home. I said, oh, thank God.
But do put them in your command database
I don't
and
know.
stay in touch.
I don't know if everybody else in their relationships are like them. I don't know what to do.
I want to know if anybody has good script for parents of, hey, can I bring my parent to this showing?
Well, they
or this
never
inspection?"
asked. They would just show
No,
up.
I know, but I wonder if anybody
Put them
has a
in.
good script. I mean, I know what I say. but-
When I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, and especially when I know that, their parents are involved to some degree, and I tell them, I said, listen, I understand that, parent always has the higher card than the real estate agent, right? But you have to remember who does this for a living and who's looking out for you because they love you.
Right.
And, so when push comes to shove and they're telling you need to put 20% down and all these things, and that's from when they bought their house 35 years ago, I'm the one that's going to give you the current market, the current information. I'm always going to lose against mom, right? If mom says no, chances are, but usually they appreciate that conversation and they know, I'm the one that's in the pulse of the market. And, and then you do what you do, and then you try to win over the parents. Once you get the parents' trust, then they're not an issue. So I'm always like, bring them. I'd love to meet them, and I can tell right then, which direction the wind's blowing.
Yeah.
Good
Just-
answer.
just
I have a
something on that.
situation right now that Al, my partner, whatever you want to call him, son and daughter-in-law are buying a house and Al wants to jump in. And my script was butt out. And it worked. Don't do that to anybody else.
At a certain point, you ask your clients to show them a house. I do, I know you do it.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rank this house?
Always.
I always do that, but then I try to ask them, if we're all together, you can't get around the parents not giving you a number that you didn't ask for. I'll call the clients later that day, say, hey, let's talk again and review those numbers. What do you really think? And I say, because I know sometimes it's hard to give an answer when there's a lot of voices. Yeah. What do you think? I don't say their parents' voices are wrong. They're just more conversation than they need at that moment.
Yeah,
And I just say, what do you think? Stepping away from the driveway, what is your number still a 6? Is it 8? Is it what is it? And
Right. And you remind them, hey, I'm gonna point out anything wrong, your parents are trying to do the same thing, but at the end of the day, I'm not paying your mortgage.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to figure out their financial situation first. Your parents are hopefully not paying your mortgage, and they're also not living there. You are. You're the one that lives there, you're gonna be paying the mortgage, so it's your decision is what matters.
Thank you all.
Quick comment about that, but that take from a different perspective in terms of culture. For example, Hispanics, that's a strategy to win the buyer because the parents are a big part of us.
Yeah.
So trust me, when I buy my home, I bring my mom to the closing because it's a kind of pride, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So keep it involved a little bit.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes it's like, just keep it right
Well,
there.
No, and it depends on the buyer too.
you learn to read it, because I had one where the wife brought her parents and the husband was not happy about it.
I have one right
And
now
so
like that.
literally every house he'd be like, oh, he's like, they point out the stain in the carpet, want to know why? And he's like, how the hell does he know why? Like, it's not his house. He never said it to them, he said to me, like on the side, and I said, listen, here's the best plan for both of us. Let's let them say what they need to say, and then you and your wife and I will talk later, but don't make them mad. It wasn't doing us any good. Basically, let's just ride this out and we'll talk later. And he's like, cool. And we found a house, they loved it, and then their parents used me to buy a house. So it's like, if you manage expectations the right way, you can make everybody happy and still be a good agent, not be a jerk.
For sure.
Thank you all. Do you all want to do this again? I'll keep track of your stories and we'll get a new panel.
Hopefully it won't be us up there next time.
I just wanted to mention one thing. I just wanted to mention that I'm teaching a class next Tuesday on buying and converting purchase leads. So if you're interested or thinking or have in the past bought leads or thinking everything about it and want to know more about the insights of that, I'll be doing that next Tuesday, 11 to 12, I guess downstairs. But look, when, it's Wednesday? Hold on. What's that?
Yeah, go coaching.
All right, Arthurine, we have to talk.
Coaching's Mondays and Wednesdays.
Okay, somehow we had it on calendar.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
next
you all.
Wednesday.
And for those of you that are in Ignite, we've got contracts class now with Sherry Arispe.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you, Jim. Oh, wait, no. We got a new person, Steve Walker. Jim's checking us out. So please,